Greetings from the International Students and Scholars Center. This presentation is on immigration requirements and ISSC resources. The International Students and Scholars Center is a globally minded team providing comprehensive support, which includes not only immigration advisement, but also retention outreach, programming, and initiatives for all of ASU's international students, scholars, faculty, and staff. We're a group of advisors, coordinators, student workers, and leadership professionals. Many of us serve in the role as a designated school official, otherwise known as DSO, which grants us access to your SEVIS record. There are many ways that you can contact or visit the ISSC. Our main office is on the Tempe campus in the Student Services Building, Suite 170. You can also phone us. You can send us an email. We also do offer in-person and virtual drop-in advising that you can find on our website, and we do visit the other 3 non-Tempe Phoenix area locations. Check out our website to see when an advisor will be on your campus. The ISSC sends many emails to students to help them stay abreast of immigration regulations, important information, and events. Every Wednesday, you will receive a newsletter from the ISSC that contains a lot of important information as well as event invitations. We will also share important immigration reminders to you as needed. It is very important that you check your email on a daily basis. We also would encourage you to have a valid US phone number so that we can call you if we need to. It's important to remember that as an international student, you have to maintain your immigration status. Some of the main areas that you will focus on include reporting requirements, immigration documentation, enrollment, and employment. Keep in mind that ISSC is here to help you to understand what these regulations are. However, some of these are federal regulations, and the ISSC is obligated to enforce them. There will be times where unfortunately we cannot be flexible and we cannot give exceptions because these regulations exist. When we're talking about maintaining your status, we want you to do that. We want you to be in status, which means you're following the regulations to be inside the US as an F1 or potentially J1 student. However, sometimes things will happen and you will not be able to maintain your status, or you will say you are out of status because you haven't followed the regulations. Please remember, it is your F1 or J1 immigration status, and you are responsible for adhering to the regulations to maintain your status. We are now going to talk about the difference between your immigration status and your visa. Your immigration status is noted by your I-20 or DS 2019 and determines the length of time you can stay in the US in that F1 or J1 status. Your status can be transferred from one school to another through your SEVIS record. If your immigration status is jeopardized, your SEVIS record will be closed or terminated. However, this does not cancel or revoke your visa. Your visa is only required to enter the country. It is a stamp in your passport that the US government provides to you. Your visa can expire while you are inside the United States, and you can legally remain inside the United States as long as you maintain your immigration status. Only the US government can revoke your visa. The ISSC has no authority to revoke a visa or deport a student. So if we ever tell you that we have to terminate your immigration status, do note that that has no impact on your visa. Your visa is yours and can only be impacted by the US government. Now we're going to talk about reporting requirements. When you first arrive to ASU, you must complete SEVIS Check-in. You will find this information on your MyISSC. It must be completed by the first day of the semester, which is August 21st, 2025 for the Fall 25 semester. On the left side of the screen, you will see a task item that is placed on your MyISSC with instructions on how to complete this process. When you click on that link, it will take you to an eForm, that is the image on the right that you will find in the ISSC eForm portal. You will follow the instructions to complete the SEVIS check-in process. Please note, once you have submitted, you have fulfilled the requirement. Please do not contact the ISSC about the status of your submission. We will contact you if we need further information. Due to the number of students that we expect to receive this semester, we will not be able to review and process all eForms by the start of the semester. That is okay. You are only required to report to us by the start of the semester. We have additional days to review and process these submissions. As part of the SEVIS check-in process, you are going to be updating your local and your home country address. Your local address is your residential address in the United States. Your SEVIS address is your residential address in your country of citizenship or permanent resident. You will also provide us with a phone number as well. F1 students can submit an international number, though we certainly prefer a US working phone number. If you are a J1 student, you must have a US phone number. On the right-hand side of your screen, you will see some examples of your local US address. Please note that these addresses are very specific and follow the United States Postal Service address format. If you move at any point during your time in the United States or your home country, you must update your address on your MyISSC within 10 days. Your apartment name should not be included in your address. The words north, south, east, and west are also not allowed. You must use the letter to describe them. If you live in an ASU residential hall, the name of your residential hall will also not be included in your address. These are not part of the official addresses for these locations. A street number must be included in line 1. If you have an apartment number, that will also be included in line 1. Please do not use any of these symbols except for the bottom symbol there. That can indicate if you live in an apartment. For your home country address or your SEVIS address, ultimately the format is up to you. We know that there are many different formats for addresses around the world, and so whatever is appropriate in your country would be listed there. This address cannot be a P.O. box, a company, or school address. And again, if this address changes while you are inside the United States, you must update it within 10 days. We are now going to talk about a scenario. A student completed their SEVIS check-in, but on their I-94 document, it says they were submitted as a B2 instead of F1. Should they be concerned about this? What do you think they should do? Should they A, contact the ISSC, B, have the I-94 corrected, or C, no action is required? I'll give you a moment to think of the answer. If you said A or B, you are correct. You should contact the ISSC and you should have the I-94 corrected. Once you contact us, we will provide you with instructions to have this document corrected. Do note, this is a government-issued document, and you will have to work with the government to update this document. But it is very important that this information is accurate. So if you notice any errors, please do contact us. The second scenario is that a student completed their SEVIS check-in on August 21st, 2024, but their eForm has not been approved yet. It is now September 14th, 2024. What do you think they should do? A. Contact the ISSC. B. Contact SEVIS. Or C. No action necessary. If you said C, no action necessary, you were correct. Again, regulations only require students to complete SEVIS Check-in by the program start date listed on their I-20. We do not have to review and process it by that date. It will take us a few weeks to review these requests, and we will process them as quickly as we can. If we contact you, please respond to us. If we do not contact you, then you are all set. Now let's talk further about immigration documentation. Some of the documents you'll need to be mindful of include your passport, your visa, your I-20 if you're an F1 student, and your DS 2019 if you're a J1 student. Your passport must be valid at all times. Please make sure you are looking at the expiration date of your passport and you contact your country's embassy or consulate inside the United States for how you can renew your passport. It is very important that you plan ahead and make sure that you never have a passport that has expired while you are inside the United States. I already talked a little bit about your visa, but I want you to think of your visa as a key. You need the key to enter your house, just like you need a visa to enter the United States. But once you're inside your house, you don't need your key anymore. Only if you leave your house and then need to re-enter it, do you need a key again. Just like your visa, you don't need a valid visa when you are inside the United States. However, if you leave the US and your visa has expired, you will have to get a new visa to re-enter. Visa renewals can only be done outside the United States. And it's very important to know that a valid F1 visa, as it appears on our screen now, is not required to apply for CPT or OPT. Again, a valid visa is only required to enter the United States. Here are some images of the Form I-20 for F1 students and the DS 2019 for J1 students. This information must always be valid and up to date. If anything changes, like your major, your level of study, if your name or citizenship changes, please do contact us so we can update this information. You are expected to keep all copies of every single document you receive for your records. You may need these documents in the future. When you're traveling, you will need your I-20 or DS 2019 with a valid travel signature. Those images can be seen in the middle of the screen that's highlighted. You will need a valid visa, again, to re-enter the United States only, your valid passport, and we always encourage students to carry with them an enrollment verification form and their unofficial transcript. We also recommend that you have your ASU Sun card, even if that is a mobile Sun card. Here's a closer-up image of the travel signature sections on the I-20 and DS 2019. If you plan to travel outside the United States and you need a travel signature to re-enter, you will request one through the eForm portal so that we can issue you a new document with these travel signatures. Travel signatures are valid for 1 year from the date signed. They can be used multiple times during that 1 year because, again, they are just valid for 1 year from the date signed. Our next scenario involves an F1 student who is applying for post-OPT after the completion of their degree program. During the time that USCIS was adjudicating their application, their passport expired. What do you think happened? A. Nothing. B. Their OPT was denied. Or C. They received a request for further evidence. If you said C, you are correct. USCIS sent the student a request for further evidence and asked them to provide a copy of a valid passport. USCIS would not approve their application for post-OPT until this was provided. So this is why it's important to not delay and make sure you renew your passport at least 6 months prior to when it will expire. Now let's talk about academics and your full-time enrollment. Full-time enrollment is required for F1 and J1 international students when studying in the US for the fall and spring semesters. Graduate students must be enrolled in 9 credit hours total, with at least 6 being in person. Undergraduates must be enrolled in 12 credit hours, of at least 9 being in person. You must always have in-person credits throughout the entire academic semester. ASU semesters are broken up into 3 sessions. There's Session C, which runs the entire length of the semester, and then there's Session A, the first half, and then Session B, the second half. Again, you must always be enrolled in in-person credits throughout the entire semester. Either that is through enrollment in a Session C in-person course or a combination of in-person courses in A and B. If you are taking Session B courses and they are part of your full-time enrollment calculations, you must be enrolled by the first day of the semester, not the first day of the session. The ways that you can meet these requirements are through the variety of classes that we offer here at ASU. To meet the in-person enrollment requirements, you can enroll in immersion classes, which meets on certain days and times of the week. You can also enroll in a hybrid class, which blends in-person and online learning. However, if you are a sponsored student, some of these courses may be restricted to you. Additionally, ASU offers ASU Sync classes, which is a class that is offered at a specific date and time via Zoom. This is considered an online class. We also offer iCourses, which are completely held online. Again, these are online classes. And then if you enroll in a class for audit, it does not count towards your enrollment at all. So on the left-hand side of your screen, the top 2 types of courses are how you will meet your in-person enrollment requirement. As long as you've met the minimum of the in-person enrollment requirement, you may take additional online classes. Those can be met through the bottom 2 types of classes on the screen here. It's very important that you maintain your full-time enrollment throughout the entire semester. So we always encourage you to swap classes instead of withdraw from classes, as this could jeopardize your full-time enrollment. If you have questions, please reach out to your academic advisor or an ISSC advisor, and we will help you navigate through this process. It's so important that you maintain that enrollment so that you do not go out of status. Here is our next scenario. An undergraduate student at the beginning of the semester was enrolled in 9 credits in person, 3 credits online, for a total of 12 credits. Great, they have met the full-time enrollment requirements. However, in April, the student decided they no longer wanted to take one of their in-person classes, and without consulting us, they dropped the class. Now the student only has 6 in-person credits. The ISSC reached out to the student many times via phone and email to let them know they were no longer meeting the full-time enrollment requirements. Unfortunately, they did not respond to any of our communications, and after 21 days, an action was taken. What do you think that was? A, nothing. B, a hold was placed on their account. Or C, their I-20 and SEVIS record was terminated. If you guessed C, their student's I-20 and SEVIS record was terminated, you were unfortunately correct. This is where I must remind you that these are F1 regulations that we are bound to enforce. We have 21 days from the time a student drops a class to help them correct it. If they do not do so within that 21-day time period, we must take this action. This is why it's so important to contact the ISSC or your academic advisor before dropping any classes to ensure that you will still meet the full-time enrollment requirements. Now we're going to talk about employment. On-campus employment. All F1 and J1 students are welcome to work on campus here at ASU, and no additional sponsorship is required. As long as you complete SEVIS Check-in and enroll full-time, you are eligible to work on campus. Please note that your work cannot interfere with your full-time study. However, there are limitations to the numbers of hours you can work on campus during the fall and spring semesters. You cannot work more than 20 hours per week. While ASU does pay individuals every 2 weeks, you cannot average those hours worked over that 2-week pay period. Each week is no more than 20 hours per week. During our breaks, which include the summer, winter, and spring breaks, you may work up to 40 hours per week. Please note that in this fall semester, we will have 2 short breaks called our fall break and Thanksgiving holiday. These breaks do not allow you to work more hours. You are still only allowed to work 20 hours per week during these time periods. When you get a job here inside the United States, you must have and receive a Social Security number. This can only be issued once you obtain a job offer. It is not required to rent an apartment, to start a phone contract, to apply for a credit card. These companies may ask you for them because it is a pretty standard number here inside the US, but they are not required. If you do not have one, you simply tell them you don't have one, and what else can you provide them? Again, an SSN can only be obtained once you have a job offer. If you are working off campus, you will need work authorization to do so. Failing to get work authorization can jeopardize your immigration status. As I said earlier, you might be out of status if you fail to get this work authorization. F1 students have off-campus authorizations called CPT, Curricular Practical Training, and OPT, Optional Practical Training. Students are only eligible for these work authorizations after completing 1 academic year of full-time enrollment. If you're a J1 student, you have a work authorization called academic training, and you are eligible for that after completing 1 semester in your J1 program. We won't talk too much about these work authorizations, but the QR code on the right side of your screen will take you to our website with additional information. We also offer workshops throughout the year, so if you want more information in preparation of these, you're certainly welcome to join us. But again, during your first academic year as an F1 student, you're not eligible for these work authorizations. Here are 2 scenarios about unemployment. An F1 student had an on-campus job in the library for 20 hours per week. One week they got sick and only ended up working 16 hours. To make up for that, they worked the next week 24 hours. The student acknowledged that they knew the rule about 20 hours per week, but they thought they could average it. A second student started working off campus at a gas station. A relative owned the gas station, and they started working there as a favor for the family. They told the ISSC that since the relative owned the gas station, they thought they were just helping out, and they didn't need to think about work authorization. In both of these circumstances, what do you think happened? A, nothing. B, a warning was issued. Or C, the student's I-20 and SEVIS record was terminated. If you said C, again, you are unfortunately correct. Because these are considered unauthorized employment violations, we are required and bound by federal regulations to cancel the student's I-20 and terminate their SEVIS record. We are unable to make exceptions when students do not abide by these regulations. So please make sure you are carefully following these regulations. I'm now going to move on to some final reminders and pieces of information. I mentioned earlier about the ISSC eForm portal that you will submit in a variety of different circumstances. The first time you will do so would be for SEVIS Check-in, but you'll also submit requests for travel signatures, CPT, OPT through this eForm portal. We encourage you to become very familiar with this eForm portal as you will be submitting a number of requests through it during your time at ASU. I also want to remind you about drugs and alcohol. The legal drinking age in the United States is 21 years old. You are not permitted to buy, consume, or possess alcohol if you are under this age. Additionally, Arizona law does permit the legal sale of marijuana to people over 21 years or older. However, federal law prohibits the use of marijuana. Your immigration status as in the United States is under federal law. Therefore, you must abide by the federal law that overrides the state of Arizona law. So you are not able to consume, use, or possess marijuana while you are inside the United States. It is really important that you follow all of the laws of the United States and you do not break any of them. This includes things like speeding tickets, parking tickets, driving under the influence. Any of these laws that are broken can result in serious consequences for your time here in the United States. We also want to give you a warning about scams. Many individuals will try and scam you out of money, pretending that they are someone official and that something hasn't been done, or they want to offer you something, and they'll make you think that they are legitimate. Please be aware of these emails or phone calls and do not fall for their tricks. If you happen to be subject to any scams, please contact ASU's police department immediately. Our last scenario involves a student who got a call from someone claiming that their EAD card was lost in the mail and they must take immediate action to get it. The caller indicated that they have to send them $5,000. The caller insists that they are calling from USCIS and they will not receive their EAD card if they do not pay the person $5,000. What do you think the student should do? A, hang up the phone. B, give the caller the money. Or C, ask their friend to call the ISSC. If you said A, you are absolutely correct. This is a scam call. The US government agencies will never call students on the phone asking for money to be paid for something like this. So immediately hang up the phone if a caller demands money for anything. In addition to the ISSC, there are also many other offices on campus that will provide you support during your time at ASU. Here on the screen are just a few of them. We would encourage you to review these web pages and contact these offices should you need any of this support. We also encourage students to read our website thoroughly. Many questions can be answered by reviewing our website. We want to let you know that our website is accurate and up-to-date and contains real information. If you read something on our website, please trust that it is true. The ISSC also offers many events throughout the semester. We encourage you to join our events, meet new people, explore new resources, and join us and have fun while you're here at ASU. And of course, we are on social media. Please follow us, like our stories, learn information, see more information about your peers and what things are happening here in the ISSC and at ASU. One more time, reminding you about the ways that you can contact us, either by visiting us in person, via phone, via email, via drop-in advising, or at our other campus locations. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoy your time here at ASU. We can't wait to meet you on campus. Take care, everyone.